Alright, so my name is Jesse, and I'm here to present to you guys my film, All for One, None for All. So let's jump into it then. The exposition, it's going to be in more of an urban, not totally urban, but not suburban, kind of in between, like a suburb of Akron. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Ellet, but that's what I'm thinking. Kind of like a Hey Arnold type of deal, but futuristic. This is going to take place in 2024, so it's the not-so-distant future. Notice it's an election year. And one of the problems at hand is that the nation's divided. So the nation's divided into pretty much a group that's for taxes and totally against taxes. It's based off of pretty much the Tea Party. There's a lot of different things to it, but as you see highlighted, reducing personal income taxes is a must. Reducing business income taxes is mandatory. So they're pretty much doing away with taxes, and when you do away with taxes, you do away with public services. So that's pretty much the gist of my story. And our protagonist, he's just going to be known as protagonist. He doesn't have a name. He's just the older brother. I chose Dave Franco. He's in various different movies. He's pretty much a budding star right now. He's not all the way to like James's status, but I chose him because he can play a serious role like you've seen in like Now You See Me, and then at the same time he kind of has like the cocky alpha male older brother thing to him. You can see that in 21 Jump Street, or if you guys are Scrubs watchers, there's Cole, season 7, it's great. So, and then for the younger brother, who is Sean, this is Logan Marmon. I don't know if you guys are too familiar with him. Percy Jackson, Charlie from Perks of Being a Wallflower. I chose him because he just puts off a very vulnerable vibe. So that, and he's also going to attract a crowd because of Percy Jackson and whatnot. So what's it about? I decided to break this down a little bit further into almost like chapters. So the exposition, you're getting dropped into a scene. You don't see any kind of jumping going on, but Sean has just been rescued by Franco, protagonist. We're not going to give him a name. And this is just a group of like 4 people. He got stopped. Don't really get to see what's going on, but they're walking on the streets, walking back to their home. And then Voices is pretty much directly after that. It was kind of just a calm walk back to the house, but you hear the chants in the background of like the opposing party. There aren't no public services, so there's no one to protect them. It's pretty much mayhem. PTSD, this is based off of him getting jumped. So once they get into an alley, into a clearing, Sean kind of rants to him. Not really rants, it's hard to explain. He's in like a trance almost, and he's explaining how they were stomping on him, and he had a pin on representing that their family is from the other party that's for taxes and services, and they actually started to like jab him and whatnot with the pen, or with the pin. The East Sider is a little bit further on. There's kind of a gap here. There's a bit of it's kind of drawn out. There's a chase scene, sort of. It's just an extension of the chase scene. And the East Sider is the weekly newspaper that is in the story. Pretty much it's kind of like a riff off of 1984, how there's the ankle, it's a hindrance. Pretty much the newspaper gets stuck to his foot. He gets into another alley, he turns right, and then he realizes it's just a newspaper. And on this newspaper, he realizes there's a family that got looted and the dad got murdered along with the pet. Not a huge deal, but it's kind of just opening your eyes to the society as is, and it warns you to lock your doors, cage your windows, all that good stuff. The fire escape, the chanting gets closer, so from that point, Franco, narrator, protagonist, he decides that they need a plan to get home. So he throws a rock, the coast is clear. He does the noble thing, he's going out in the open. He kind of sprints home. There's a lot of mental fights with himself that you get to see. He tells Sean, Logan Lerman, to take the fire escape back because it's more secluded, it's back. If they're familiar with the territory, they know what it is. They can get into the house without going on the streets that way. And the conclusion to the story, you get back. You see Franco, protagonist, get back to the house, and the father touches him on the shoulder. He's like, "Have you seen Sean?" And then it cuts off there. And then, as you've seen in a couple different movies, the credits start, it's just an issue of The East Sider with Sean in it. Like, he didn't make it home. So that is the main plot to the story. The audience, this audience truly is targeted for pretty much everyone. When you look at the voters, it's kind of playing at a divided party, all that kind of stuff. Young adults, there are numerous different reasons why this attracts young adults. Franco and Lerman are both pretty prolific actors today. You've seen them in a lot of stuff. 21 Jump Street, now you've seen Scrubs, Percy Jackson, Percy Being a Wallflower, there's a lot of it. Teens, more the Percy Jackson readers, and families, obviously, because you have the older brother family dynamic, they get to the home. So that's why it would target pretty much everyone. And how is it appealing? It's appealing because it could actually happen. Like, Hunger Games, that's pretty far-fetched, probably not going to happen. But a party dominating like that, that's not so much of a stretch. Another thing, if you look at other movies with the fatality of children, you look at Hunger Games, you look at West Side Story, you look at Pay It Forward, all of them have been huge hits. And it's another common thing with them, all of them have children dying. And the cast, you can get a lot of people to watch this just purely based off of the cast. A good example I think of, I'm not going to say that Percy Jackson is the same as Harry Potter, but you see Daniel Radcliffe all the way up through the Harry Potter movies, you end up watching Woman in Black. Not a good movie, but you still watch it. Percy Jackson, same concept. So my last slide is just references to the Tea Party. I'd like to thank you guys for hearing my pitch.